Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Kubera Season 2, episodes 89, 90, and 91. I'm only going to be doing 3 this week, coming back from being sick and everything, so sorry for the long break. Week before last, I was too sick to record. I had completely lost my voice. Last week, I attempted to record. If any of you watched the Hero Academia video, I was recording that to kind of be like a test run, kind of see if I could make it through that video before I went and started recording Kubera, since Kubera is usually a little bit on the longer side as far as videos go. And I coughed my way through that. It was really annoying having to stop and cough every few minutes and having to edit all of that out. And by the time I was at the end of recording that, I was like, like all out of breath. So I was like, yeah, definitely can't record anything after this. I'll record Kubera whenever I'm feeling better. So, sorry that there wasn't a video last week either for this series. But yeah, we're getting back into it. I'll do 3 this time, 4 next time, since this is 7 chapters long. And the reason I'm splitting it up like that is just to get back into things with a smaller number rather than do 4 and then 3. Now, next week is going to be Christmas, of course, but Monday's the day before Christmas Eve, so I should probably be able to do the video on Monday. If I don't do it on Monday, expect it on like Thursday or Friday. I'll just do it after Christmas, but I'll still do it next week. So yeah, if the video's not on Monday, I'll let you know on the community tab or Discord or whatever, and then I'll just have it on Thursday or Friday, but I'll probably be able to do this on Monday. ORV, that's gonna be like actually Christmas Eve, so ORV is probably gonna have to wait until like Thursday or Friday, but Monday it'll be Kubera as usual, I think. But either way, yeah, we're starting the taboo after finishing the good. Now, of course, this is probably going to refer to multiple things. Could refer to Lee's and Yuta's relationship, perhaps. But the obvious thing, the big thing, the thing that you think of would probably be bringing Teo back to life. It feels like bringing somebody who was dead back to life is probably the taboo. Now, again, I don't think it's a bad thing. And in universe, it's not like she was dead for a while or anything. She was frozen for a short time. Most people didn't even know she was dead. And of course, the way that she was able to be brought back to life is that it was hidden from the gods. So I mean, if nobody really knew she was dead when they set out to look for her anyway, nobody in the city would have known she was dead yet or anything like that. With all of that, it's like, well, they didn't really know she was dead anyway. So to me, it's like a rewound time to bring her back to life. Is it really that big a deal? Even in universe, if I was one of the characters in the world of Kubera, am I like, is that really that big a deal? If anything, the only big deal is going to be, we probably need to hide this, because then, literally everyone's gonna want Asha to bring whoever they care about back to life. So we probably need to hide the method by which this was done. Or even the fact that it's possible. We probably need to do a little bit of a cover-up here. But either way, with all of that aside, I am still, struggling a little bit. I didn't think I would be, but talking nonstop without any breaks for such a long period of time, doing it for nearly an hour with Tower of God last night, I was like, okay, my ability to breathe as I'm going through this, not what it was before being sick, so I need to kind of work back into that, rebuild my lung stamina, my lung capacity, it would seem. Or maybe just, need to still continue to get over whatever I was sick with. But, either way, hopefully it wasn't the corvids that were bothering everyone before. I think it was maybe just the flu or something, but, it is what it is. Either way, let's start reading with episode 89. We have, after the Priestess of Chaos returned safely, Yuta was soon allowed to enter the city. The Priest of Earth was still neutral about it, but the Priestess of Chaos consented so eagerly he was able to enter the city with Asha vouching for him, just like before. However, in spite of the Priestess having revived, thanks to Yuta and Asha, there seemed to be more people than before who hated us. We're seeing Rish. The Taboo Part 1. We have this nice shot of Calibloom. You finally made it into the city. Yeah, you sound like you wouldn't have cared even if, sound like you wouldn't have cared even if you couldn't have entered. Do you think I can't break the earth barrier, Asha? Listen, Asha, I'm still not sure just how strong I've got since I've last developed. But, I'd like to find out, but I would need someone willing to fight me for real. Before, I showed Mr. Cossack how tempted I was, but then you appeared and I snapped out of it, Asha. You like fighting? I had no idea. No, I didn't used to be this way. This started after I developed. I tell you, I want to fight. I want to eat. I want to do things, but why should I care about you people? Why do I have to be this way? I don't feel like I need to force myself to act sympathetic to things that don't concern me. I also think that everything I learned from holding back before is useless. This will only get worse as time goes by. What'll happen to me now? This is very tragic, actually, because it feels like Yuta has drastically changed, and he does not want to change. This is like really, really sad, because it feels like the Yuta who was one of my favorite characters before is completely gone, and I'll be completely honest, I don't like this new douchebag Yuta. I don't like him. So this is kind of bumming me out a bit. And it's one of those things where it's not bumming me out too much, because now that we're like telling the story in this way, it's drawing attention to it. It's being like, hey, I've changed a lot. And I feel like the undertone here is that this is not a good change, and growing through this and maybe trying to get, like, maybe not necessarily trying to get back to who you were, but at least trying to grow through these new feelings and stuff is a part of the story that's being told. I'm afraid that I'll turn into a bad guy. So it would probably be better if I just stayed far away from everyone. And yet I don't want to be alone. I've had enough of being a loner. Yuta? Please, just give me Lee's, and then we have a rip. I shouldn't have written that. Besides, Asha, why'd you tell me that I had to keep my identity a secret from her? That made things so hard for me, and it doesn't seem like she hates all Shuras. It was probably a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? You see, the day that we met... So that's what happened. You definitely made a mistake, Asha. When you first met me, and you still didn't know that I was a Rakshasa, didn't you say that you were confident that you could beat me? You said that all of the high-ranked Shuras who could take human form were trapped in the Shura world following the Great Upheaval, and that there was no chance of me being a Rakshasa. You did say that there was a chance that I might be an Upani, but until recently, Elise didn't even know what an Upani was. Asha, could you start by explaining what that word means? It means you would just get your butt kicked. So, from Lisa's perspective, a high-ranked Shura in human form meant... Stop it. I've already heard enough about this from Ron. I don't need you to repeat it. Are you upset because you hid it for me, and now it seems like I'm only taking Lisa's side? From up close, you were worried that Lisa and I wouldn't get along. And from a distance, you were worried about losing the lucky card that you had got. That's why you hid my identity, isn't it? I thought, or maybe someone thought I was at disadvantage and decided to do me a favor. But if the situation changes, he might turn his back on me. That's why I can't trust him. It doesn't matter either way. I followed you knowing full well that all you saw me as was another card in your deck. And regardless of the reason, I think I should be grateful to you simply for having hidden my identity for my sake. Maybe it wasn't such a big mistake, Asha. You're a human, Asha, who can make mistakes and be wrong. You don't need to be so flustered at having misunderstood Lise, as if it's the end of the world. This is also really, really, really good. Because, so what I love here is that it's not as simple as a character being evil or bad. Because, like, from Lisa's perspective, Lisa's, like, hurt that everyone was hiding things from her, and then after it all comes out, she's like, oh, this is good. I thought you were hiding something really bad from me, but you were hiding something that I don't mind, because I'm not actually racist against Shuras. I don't know of another Shurophobic. I don't know of another way to put it. But now she's kind of got to be upset that Wow, that's the kind of person they thought I was. They really thought that my experiences would have led me to be like that towards Yuta, who was unrelated to those experiences. Um, so it changes things. It makes it more complex. But you see from her perspective. Then from Yuta's perspective, he's like, we spent all this time hiding my identity, which made my relationship with Lise more difficult. And it turns out we didn't really need to worry about that. But at the other hand, he can see that he's like, okay, we didn't have to go through all this. It made things more difficult on me, but I can see that you were doing it for my sake. I can see that you thought it would have been bad for me, not like bad for you or anything, because I'm sure Asha would have just been like, deal with it, Lise, like she does about so many other things. But she was hiding Yuta's identity for Yuta's sake. And then, of course, from Asha's perspective, she's horrible at communicating with others, terrible at actually just talking with Lise. A lot of the issues that she has with Lise could probably just be handled by her dropping her pride a little bit and talking normally instead of just always being the AAA rank hater. But it's one of those things where, though she's been rude and made mistakes, she has done it for a generally good reason. She has thought that it was the right thing to do here. So I like that this is not so simplistic as a character like one of our main group being schemy or untrustworthy or anything like that. It's that Asha thought she was doing the right thing, and by extension, with her explanation, Yuta was like, okay, I get where you're coming from. Like before everything came out, Yuta, Ron, they were like, okay, I get where you're coming from. And then, but it turns out that she just kind of made the wrong call on that. So I do like that it's, more complex. There's no need to be embarrassed. Anyone could make a mistake like this. I'll take care of it for you. So stop crying and come here. And is this... We learned that Asha had a connection with Vishnu, right? Is this Vishnu, maybe? I can't really tell just from this panel alone. You. So tell Lise that it was a misunderstanding. I feel like my memories of Vishnu are he was kind of like femboyish and had like a huge maybe his shirt was hanging off of one shoulder, I don't remember, but he had like a bunch of like collarbone showing. He had one of those like huge necked shirts. You. So tell Lise that it was a misunderstanding. You're not going to try to sweep this under the carpet, are you? That's not right, Asha. If you let even minor misunderstandings keep building up, there's no misunderstanding to resolve anyway. Lise is the same as always. You're right. Knowing Lisa's personality, she would just laugh it off and forget about it, rather than get angry at you. But Asha, as I said before, if things keep going this way, people will start to become distant. If you let unresolved misunderstandings like this pile up, it will only leave Ron or Lise with a negative impression of you. You need to start being more honest if you want them to remember you as a good person. No, that doesn't matter. I'm not a good person anyway. Well then, it feels like Yuta is just talking to a brick wall here. He's like, I'm trying here. I won't bother with this anymore. If this drives Lise further away from you, it's better for me. And of course, she can't understand that last part, presumably, unless she's hiding the ability to understand Shura from us. Ta-da! Welcome back to Calibloom, Yuta. We have a welcome cake. This is a welcome cake. Those layers of her clothes, seriously. Don't worry, there's not a single vegetable in it. Try it, it's good. Ugh, gross. Why would you put raw meat in a cake? I didn't make it for you, Ron. Then why would you make it look like a normal cake? It made me want a piece. What do you mean? Yuta has a right to eat a normal-looking cake, too. Isn't that right, Yuta? He just has... The plate is already devoured. See? You don't need to bother with decorating if you're just gonna give it to Yuta. Just treating him like a dog. You'd probably prefer a plate of raw meat without anything covering it. Still, the cake is supposed to congratulate him. Don't you feel sad seeing something that you spent all day making disappear in one bite? It's okay. Have this too, Yuta. I have something to say to Asha. No, she said not to let anyone in except the people she's staying with. How could a landlord make an exception for one customer? Because she's renting every single room in the guest house. Oh, what a show-off. I know she would have earned some of it, but she's probably also made a lot with that spell of hers. She could have saved so many people if she had told us before. I never realized she was such a selfish magician. Again, they really needed to do a cover-up. I must have been crazy for liking her based on her looks. More people have come. I've been used to seeing this kind of thing since I was a child, but still. Ron's aunt was the priestess of resurrection before the Great Upheaval. Okay, so before the Great Upheaval, you could kind of just do this. And again, if you have like a priestess of resurrection, does anybody really need to die? I mean, I guess eventually. Well, no, because it's reverting back time. You could just revert someone back to when they were younger. Everybody could kind of just be immortal if they wanted to. That really torments those who can use the magic. Save them now. Why can't you use the magic now when it's always worked before? Stop lying and just help my mom and dad. True. Because they would be like, you could just bring people back to life before. Why can't you do it like you? They wouldn't just believe, oh, you just can't do this thing now that you used to do all the time. I've frozen them. Just use Hoti Vishnu, please. There was once a time when I desperately needed that spell. So it's not like I don't understand how they feel. Okay, and this is Ron specifically saying this. Alright. So his mom and dad, did they both die then? I know that his brother was kind of basically a bit of a father figure or a parent or a parental figure, but I didn't know that in the Cataclysm, I always forget, Great Upheaval, I didn't realize that both his parents had died for some reason. I guess, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't know that. Were we explicitly told that? Because I know his mother turned on them, and that's, part of why he fears halves. But I didn't know that his mother had also died, but then again, what would have happened to her if she didn't die? And I guess she did kill his father. Or maybe they both took each other out. Or maybe she took out the father, and then after the upheaval happened, felt guilt about what she did, and took herself out of the equation as well. Who knows? Lots of potential things could have happened. Like, she could have gotten taken out because she was also trying to take out Ron, and then somebody saved him, potentially. There's a lot of options. But they're too late, unless you completely freeze a body. Their name soon gets registered in the underworld. It's not like she can bring them back from the dead now anyway. There's no point in having an argument with Asha. We have Lee's thinking. To be continued. And we also still don't know what it means that 0 people died in Lisa's village. But either way, with that over with, let's go into the afterword. The afterword this time starts out not translated, but then we have Yuta's writing. Yuta writes upside down for Asha, in a direction that she can easily read. We first saw him doing this back in episode 47, but even though he says he's worried that he might turn into a bad guy, he still wants Lise to be given to him. Evil grin emoji. Seems like he's the bad guy already. Asha and Yuta face to face. Asha usually wears thick soles, but she's actually 1 centimeter shorter than Yuta. When they're standing, Asha seems taller because of her shoes, but when they both sit, they're about the same height. And then Ron taking some cake. Even though he complains about the raw meat in his cake, Ron's Ira face still eats everything served on his plate. Some of you have asked what kind of meat the characters eat, but in the Kubera verse, there exist normal animals alongside humans and churras. We've seen birds, rabbits, cats, and curry bears in passing. Okay. So, with that aside, that was an incredibly good chapter. I think that the character work and discussions we had, especially I was going to say especially the stuff with Asha and Yuta that made up most of the chapter. But even though that made up most of the chapter, I don't want to say especially just because I think the stuff at the end with Ron was just as good. I think that's really good. seeing how the world's reacting a little bit, a teeny bit at least, and having more hints at how Lisa's feeling and her relationships with all the characters. Just this main quartet and the sort of relationships and interactions between them is extremely well written and really the heart and soul and backbone of the series itself. So this chapter, absolutely incredible. And let's go on to Season 2, Episode 90. We're starting now at nighttime. Those people are back in the middle of the night. We have people crying at the gates to their place they're staying. Crap, this time it's halves. What should I do? The landlord's probably asleep by now. I can stay up and guard the place, so don't worry. What? Whoa! And Yuta's just there at his bed. What the hell? Why are you sitting there? Wait, but the door must have been locked. What do you think you're doing? He scribbles. Sorry if I surprised you. I just didn't want to sit alone. I walked around outside Lisa's and Asha's room, but I figured it'd probably be best to go to you. I see. It's better that you come to me rather than those two. Is something bothering you? Are you suddenly lonely when you've been doing fine on your own so far? He looks down. The Taboo Part 2. So, my brother may look like a gentleman on the outside, but he's really not. And we have Sham l'Arbre. And then, hey, this is a secret, okay? Okay. Alright, now it's your turn. What do you want to tell me? What do you think of Lisa's clothes? Her clothes? At first I thought she might have been sick, but that doesn't seem to be it. I guess if that's how she likes to dress, then I'd like to get her some more clothes. You want to buy her more clothes to pile on her. Why not? She looks cute. She looks like she would just keep rolling if you pushed her. I love that. I love that little image. I guess she does look kind of uncomfortable, but it's probably just a phase, so just take it nicely. You know Lise doesn't have long to live. The girl we saw when she had the Hoteyama spell on her, that's the end. Still, I don't like it. I feel like Lise is trying to keep me at a distance, even if it's by wearing unnecessarily thick clothes. She wasn't like this before. Is she afraid because I'm Ashura? I don't think so. Have you ever done anything that might make you feel guilty towards Lise? And then, so you have. I caught you. Tell me what happened. Yuta. And I think it's adorable. I think all the layers are super freaking cute. I think the style is adorable. What's up with Ron? Why is he sleeping here? We have a bunch of bottles now. He was giving me some good advice last night. I guess he drank a bit too much. I tried to bring him to his room, but he told me to just leave him here. How many bottles did he drink? You're such a drunk, Ron. Everything that you take out of the fridge gets included in the rent that Asha pays. Well, I guess since Ron has a lot of money, he can afford to pay for his own booze. Ron drank 6 bottles. The weight isn't a problem, but there are too many to take out all at once. Yuta, could you help me? We should probably clear this mess up before Asha comes downstairs. And then all of it's grabbed by the cloth. Wow, that thing's so handy. Thanks, Yuta. You look like you're hot. Why don't you take off those clothes? It's okay. I'm just a bit chilly. The side of your head is all sweaty, though. I've always been pretty sweaty. Is this because I hugged you in the forest? You're trying to distance yourself from me with those clothes. I think it's probably that she's doing it for his sake. We've seen before how in so many circumstances Lise kind of blames herself and immediately says like, oh, this is because of this or whatever. I think probably she sees what Yuta's going through after transforming, and she knows from reading the book and everything, okay, he's having issues with this sort of thing. And I think she's probably like, by being around him, or showing skin, or getting too close or anything, she probably feels like she's making things inconvenient for him and making things harder on him. And she's doing all of this because she wants to not inconvenience him, and she feels like she would be inconveniencing him otherwise. Ron told me that I'm supposed to ask for permission before I hug someone, but each time you hugged me, you never asked for permission first, right, Lise? That's why I thought it would be okay. I thought you would be as happy as I was. But Yuta, in the stage of your development, what does that have to do with this? Who said anything about that? Changing on the outside doesn't mean that you change on the inside. You told me that. It's just like you said. All that's changed is my appearance. I'm still the same on the inside. Really. Believe me, Lise. And he starts crying. And of course we saw last chapter how it's getting to him, how he does feel so different, how things have changed so much. And I love that he's still clinging on to what she said of changing on the outside doesn't mean you change on the inside, when I think he's really afraid of changing on the inside because he doesn't want to hurt people, but also because now more than ever he doesn't want to be alone. Don't we trust each other that much? No, that's not true, Asha. And again, because he's fearing that he's changing on the inside, but now that he's changed on the outside, having other people treat him differently because he looks different probably also really adds into the way he's feeling. No, that's not true, Asha. What do you mean it's not true? Stop insisting like a child and just admit it. And maybe also she, like again, even though she said, you know, I wouldn't treat somebody like that just because they were a Shura and stuff. And even though Asha was being overly harsh as usual, maybe she is seeing kind of a kernel of truth in that knowing about him being a full Shura, especially after his development and everything, maybe it is bothering her. Like, it's not like she's all of a sudden going to hate him just because he's a Shura, but at the same time, it's not like that doesn't affect her perception of him at all. That is at least somewhat maybe affecting her perception of him. Lise, sorry, I wasn't trying to scare you. I don't mind if you say that you don't want to trust me, I don't mind if you say that you don't want to trust me, even if you don't trust me. I trust you, Yuta. I know very well how hard it is to have someone who I thought was my friend not believe me. I can't do that to Yuta. Of course I trust you. If you say that you're fine, then what does your stage of development matter? Lise. Yuta, wait, the bottles! And then crash. You can't remember anything since the Hoti Vishnu spell brought you back to life? Yeah, I'm all confused right now. I saw some people come back to life with this spell before the Great Upheaval, but I've never been the one being revived. A lot happened while I was out. The Sword of Return was drawn during the sword test, and there was even a Shura raid. And when I went looking for you, Par's the only one of the fighters I brought with me at the time who's still alive. What on earth was I doing? As a priestess, I should have been trying my best to save anyone that I could. If I'd known you would come back, maybe it would have been better just to wait in the city. Teo? Sorry, Elwyn. It's not your fault. I know. I know very well who put you in danger, and got the people from the Fighters Union killed. To be continued. Okay. This is cool. If we continue on, I want to see more of this conversation. I want to see more development for Teo and Elwyn. So Teo doesn't remember going out to search for Elwyn, which got everyone except for Par killed. Doesn't remember the events with the sword and everything. So honestly, she doesn't remember anything since back when she was with Elwyn when they first found Gandharva, right? So she might not remember Gandharva whatsoever. And it's not one of those things where it's like amnesia, they can get their memories back. This isn't amnesia. She has had herself rewound to before that happened. So it's not like she can get those, she can't even get those memories back. At least in any way that would make sense to me. Because it's not like she has those memories, but they've been blocked with magic, or they've been scrambled by a head injury. It's literally she's rewound to before even making those memories to begin with. So she wouldn't even remember Gandharva if they do meet again. Which is rough. But either way, that's it for this chapter, so let's go check out the afterword. The afterward this time as Ron passed out next alcohol bottles. Ron sleeping it off. There aren't many characters who can be drawn like this. I like Ron, so please don't misunderstand me. Ron drinking while talking to Yuta. Scene of a minor drinking. No, Ron's old enough to drink. He's a 37-year-old quarter-blood with no physical or mental problems. I'm not going to tell you if Yuta drank any alcohol or why there were so many empty bottles, but the alcohol doesn't contain anything that would make him puke. Then Yuta crying. Yuta's very emotional. He can also act like he's crying too, but that doesn't mean he's acting now. I'm just saying, eating popcorn emoji. Teo and Elwin looking at the horizon is not translated. Okay. Well, let's go then to finish off this video with Season 2, Episode 91. Sorry that it feels a little bit short this week, but, you know, I just gotta work my way back into things. In starting the chapter, at first when I clicked over to the next one, I was like, did it load correctly? Because for some reason, I don't know, just the angle of this, just the paneling of this, it feels so awkwardly cut at the bottom and top. It just feels like Kurigam had to draw more of it and then like cut the top and bottom off because it feels really odd to draw it this way. I don't know, just something about it feels off. Let's just be honest here. Teo, the fact that you've been staying with an unknown man is your own private life and doesn't really matter here. But I really can't understand why you just left during the sword of the test of the sword of the test. Because of that, you weren't able to do anything about the accident that occurred during the test. Ultimately, the fact that Elwin was kidnapped and everything turned out like this. Hey, come on, let's not blame her for what happened afterward. She may have left because of something important that we don't know about, and Elwin's abduction could have overlapped with that by chance. Guys, just think about the moment when we were all so sad that Teo had died and try to calm down. We're not here to interrogate her. We're trying to help her get her memories back. I don't think that's something you can do, though, right? Because, again, she was rewinded to before making those memories to begin with. Anyway, so you say that Par and Elwin can prove that the man was on the same side as the Shuras. Or maybe I'm just not understanding quite how the spell really works. Elwin can prove that the man was on the same side as the Shuras. Yes, says Best Girl. When we went looking for Elwin, everyone who went with her told Teo to stay inside the barrier since she's a priestess. But that man alone suggested that Teo leave the barrier and keep searching. And until the moment that Teo ordered me to leave, that man was by Teo's side without the slightest sign of fear. Even after Teo disappeared, he reappeared without a scratch on him. And then the fighters who approached him and tried to ask him about Teo. And then she starts tearing up. Everyone else is distraught as well. The Taboo, Part 3. If he was able to handle all of those fighters with the God Class items by himself, he wasn't alone. There was someone else with him. Judging from the fact that he didn't get attacked at all and was just standing there, I'm sure that they must have been on the same side. And since Asha was using her hunter's eyes back then, she might have seen the situation in better detail than I did. I see. Then I should hear about it from her. You heard something when Elwin was abducted by the guy, right? Yes. At first the high-rank Shura who took me away. Are you sure it was a high-rank Shura and not a half? Yes, I heard him talking to Yuta before I was taken away. Then why don't we just leave the temple together? We're within the range of the turret, so we can't take Shura form. And whoever it may be, the winner will not be able to eat the loser. At first I was so surprised and scared that Yuta was a Shura, but once I got to know him, he was a really sweet guy. And no one came to save me. Only Yuta kept coming to the edge of the temple to get me. See, she said he's nice. Who said Yuta might be a Shura spy? Wasn't me. I'm a fan of Yuta. Anyway, that high-rank Shura asked me. A man with one eye approached the temple, didn't he? What's he doing now? That's when I realized that Teo was in danger, so I tried to tell her that the man was dangerous. But I couldn't leave the temple because I was being guarded. Did you hear that, Teo? I'm almost certain now. The man who was with you was on the same side as the Shura who attacked the city. He was trying to lure you outside the barrier, and you fell for his trick. Well, Yuta, you seem to have a hard time with buttons, so I got you something without any. And he has a new shirt. I think, a very cool looking shirt. Well, pretty good, huh? No one can even tell that you're a Shura now. And then he's scribbling something. I appreciate you picking out clothes for me, but It would be better if I didn't have clothes like this. No clothes? Not you, Lise. I mean my clothes. Except pants. Don't get me wrong, Lise. I guess maybe because of the thing on his chest or whatever, maybe wearing clothes over it is difficult or uncomfortable. And that's why, like, she was like, you seem to have trouble with buttons because he had his shirt just opened the entire time. But it's not that he had trouble with the buttons. It's just a part of his physiology. And Asha, do you ever buy any clothes? You have plenty of money to buy clothes, but I've only ever seen you wear that. You don't look really you don't really look comfortable in it. No, I'm fine. It may not look like it, but these are very expensive and custom made. They're optimized for my birth attributes, so they have much better defensive capabilities than most god rank items. Ah, really? Well, I guess it's fine if you wear them for their performance. Is that fur cape also for defense? It's just for storage. What's with the antique dagger? Haven't you ever heard of a Vajra? I think I've heard the word before. It's a god rank item of the sky god Indra. I borrowed it from Rish during the last attack. What? Rish lent you that item? That's a huge surprise, but shouldn't you give it back to her? As a reward for slaying the Shura who attacked Rish, she let me keep it. You saved Rish. Strange, but then why would Rish be hanging around the people who hate us? I'm not sure. It's probably because of Hoti Vishnu. And now we're getting over to Rish. Are we going to have some Rish or Seiran family, lore or plot dropped on us? Boss, here are the files you asked for. She looks back. Good. Did you find everything I mentioned? Yeah, there's the record of Asharahiro's accidental manslaughter of 29 people, and statistical data from the people who did a follow-up investigation on her. These investigation files were especially hard to find. It seemed like someone had already found them and tried to destroy them to cover up the whole thing. I gathered and restored the remaining files, but it cost over 100,000. 100,000? That's alright. It's less than I expected. But boss, do you really need to dig up all of this again? It was a big controversy at the time of the trial, but it ended up being judged as an accident, and she was set free. I'm not sure what you stand to gain from bringing all of this up again. There's no gain in it. I might even be endangering my own life by making Asha an enemy. Going after a high-ranking magician who has a Rakshasa by her side. I must really be fearless. Boss, but I still have a winning chance, or a chance of winning. The situation's different now than it was at the time of the trial. Think about it. If they had known she could use Hoti Vishnu, do you really think the trial would have deemed the incident accidental manslaughter? No, of course not. Even if you force yourself to believe that a genius strategist accidentally killing 29 people... yourself to believe the genius accidentally killed 29 people. Okay, sorry. There's no way to make sense of the fact that she didn't use Hoti Vishnu on them. Yeah, if it was an accident, then you would think that if that's possible, she could have just immediately reversed it. Why? Why didn't she rescue the people she killed by mistake? What if there was no mistake in the first place? To be continued. And we're ending on the murder mystery. Okay, I like getting into this. We're getting so much deeper into the characters and the story, and I love how all these little things, like the stuff with Asha, has been brought up from time to time in the past, and now it's being brought up again. And I like how we do that in Kubera. Like, this stuff is important. We have stuff brought up a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and it just continues persisting over dozens and dozens of chapters. Everything just feels so incredibly well written, so like densely packed, in that, you know, all three of these chapters have been people sitting around talking, and they have been so incredibly good. The story content in Kubera is just so deep. I love it. I just love how deep and dense the story is. It's so good. But either way, with that to the side, let's go check out, before ending the video, let's go check out the afterword here. Afterward starts off with this story is about how the power to resurrect a person and manslaughter can both be established. Zard holding a pen. Text is not translated. Ron eating. Ron's clothes will continue to change, but he keeps wearing tracksuits. He didn't peel his own fruit. He ordered it from room service. Then younger Asha. The clues about Asha's involuntary manslaughter, first alluded to in Season 1, has finally risen to the surface. Rish Seiran versus Asha Rahiro. Please wait and see who will win. It's going to happen soon. Okay? Incredibly good, incredibly fun stuff. 3 incredibly good chapters. Like, extremely, extremely good. Like, Kubera is just crazy amazing. So, 3 absolutely amazing chapters. I honestly kind of want to read more, but I should end this. I should go ahead, get this video posted for you all before it gets too late. Again, need to do some more Christmas preparation type stuff. So, need to go do that. Next week, again, even though it's the day before Christmas Eve, I should have time to do the next 4. So next 4 will be next Monday, and if not, I'll update you. I'll let you know if I don't have time for it, and I'll do them on Thursday or Friday probably. Maybe even Saturday, who knows, but I'll let you know if I don't do it on Monday. But I'll probably just do it next Monday. Next Tuesday, though, ORV will probably have to be pushed back to Thursday or Friday, because I probably won't be able to do anything on Christmas Eve for YouTube. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with these chapters. As far as more Kubera stuff goes, I said before, I think at chapter 100, or Season 2 episode 100 is when I'm doing the next character ranking. I'm pretty sure that's when it's going to be. So you'll have another character ranking stream then. I'll stream that. But again, I'll let you know for certain when we're like there at it. And also, you know, I guess it's only like 2 months away. Whenever we get to around Valentine's Day, I think I want to do a Kubera like waifu ranking, best girl ranking for like Valentine's Day. I think that would be a funny video or stream to do. I think that'd be funny to stream. So I think maybe best girl stream could happen. Yeah. With that aside, maybe I'll even try to bring in some other people if we do that. Make it like a big, almost celebratory thing. Of course, it would be, I think, kind of obvious to bring in Naya, even though he's like way ahead of me. Being caught up and everything. Of course, it'd be fun to try to get Pyro in here too, maybe. So we'll see what happens, or maybe I'll just do it alone. We'll see what you all prefer. We'll see what I'm feeling like would make the best sort of scenario. Like, if it would be too much trouble to organize things, I'll probably just do it on my own, because I suck at being social like that. But either way, I'll end things here. Like if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of these chapters, my first thoughts and reaction. I had an absolute blast with them. I think they were extremely good quality-wise. Tell me what you thought, my thoughts, all that, whatever you want to say in the comments. Subscribe for more Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Ask and you can have a link. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that is very much appreciated. But if you want to help support the channel and also get One Piece videos a little early, get your name at the end of videos, then hit join down below to become a member, or go to patreon.com/HakuofTheTubes, or link will be in the description to become a patron. It really does mean so much. It's kind of the backbone of me continuing to be able to afford to make videos. So thank you so much to patrons, chosen regulars Evan Hawley, Magical Girls, FRNono, JA, and the D-Band, Cherryton students, David Langstaff and Folded Goal, Slayer candidates, SG and Stance Eater, and Pure Element, Pate Arial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.